All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elders of great millstone. Shalom to you, Akim, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity. Bringing forth the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai. That testimony is the spirit of prophecy. Prophecy meaning to say before. All right, and we have been spiritually woken up. All right, to bring forth what's going to happen before it happens. Now, this lesson I want to touch on this dude Matt Walsh. All right, and it's just particularly on a point, the point that he's making to justify, the ill, the ill nature of the so-called white man. All right, towards mainly you tribes, but the rest of the world. All right, so I know the elders did beautiful lessons on this guy, okay, who's pretty much doubling down on the massacring of the tribes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and as usual, all right, he justifies the means of what he does through just deception. All right, he called basically called the all the natives, all right, or as we know, the Gadites, okay, called them savages. So that I guess that justifies the means of them, the Europeans, taking over and making ill work, all right, or putting millions of people to death and displacing hundreds of millions of people. All right, so he's proud. Okay, and I just wanted to say, he says what? Yes, this country was born through colonization and conquest, and I am very proud of that fact. All right, and so I know elders have did lessons on it. I kind of want to touch on it. I honestly tried to do this lesson last night at least 4 or 5 times. All right, I can't remember exactly how many times, but I'm gonna get it until I'm gonna try until I finish it. All right. Okay, so I'll play a little bit of this video. All right, and because we can use the same logic to justify the means of the Most High Yahweh Shai Shai coming back and destroying this place. So with the same logic this man is using, these people were savages, which we know that's some of it is not all true. You had the Aztecs, all right, the Aztec Empire, who they were into human sacrificing, but that they didn't represent the bulk of the natives here. What about the Taino Indians? All right, and the list goes on and on. All right, but we know this is the sick nature of the so-called white man. All right, to create a boogeyman and justify his degenerate, strange nature towards everyone else. Okay, so we can say the same. We can say the same thing about you, basically. All right, and that's why I named this the name this lesson. Yes, this country will be utterly wasted, and I am very proud of that fact, because guess what? Now you are the savages. All right, okay, and the world has been war torn. Okay, for centuries now because of the so-called white man. All right, doesn't the so-called white man fight against themselves? All right, there's been wars with as you can say, I can say white on white crime, you can say. All right, so stop with the moral taking a moral high ground. You're full of shit, man. And it's plain to see. Okay, so I'll play this, and again, I know elders did lessons on it, but I kind of want to put my 2 cents in it. So here we go.
Civilization, one that we should be proud of, even in spite of its history of conquest. No, not in spite of that history. I'm proud of it in large part because of that history. It is one of the great triumphs of all time that our forefathers had to first conquer an ocean in order to then land on a giant mass of uncharted wilderness filled with untold dangers and wild beasts. And yet,
right. And Esau wants to spruce this up on this heroism as if they, they're the champions of society. All right. When we know that's just not true. Okay. If you look at the world in its current state, it's worse than it's ever been. All right. It's worse than it's ever been. Okay. And upon them conquering and their imperialism, guess what? They brought all type of diseases, All right. They brought all type of stuff to the Americas. All right. Okay. So I'll play a little bit more.
Yes, primitive warring tribes, many of whom practice human sacrifice and cannibalism, and who, if they captured you, would torture you for fun and rape your wife and children before killing you, maybe eating your internal organs and taking your family as their property.
And let's be real, okay? Let's be real here, okay? When you look at the European, the European society before the Americas, all right, your history ain't that bright as well, all right, okay? Because you Edomites were very nasty, okay, all right, and that's a fact, okay, and you still are nasty. You're nasty people, okay. You use deception. You use the media to deceive the masses of the people, all right. Okay, you use psyops all over the world. You destabilize thriving countries. All right, so that you can go in and set up uh, uh, your industries. All right, and steal the resources. Right, it's the worst. It's the worst ever. So we can use the same sentiment. All right. Okay.
And yet, in the face of those unimaginable horrors, our forefathers and ancestors conquered this entire hemisphere and settled it and single-handedly dragged it out of the Stone Age and built from the wilderness the greatest civilization the world had ever known. Am I
right? I mean, and dude's really trolling, man. You know, he's doing it for shock value. Okay, this dude is a troll. He's trolling, man. All right, and really, it just speaks to their nature, man. Okay, they would like to believe that they, champion themselves. They are the heroes, and yeah, that's a bullshit lie. Okay, because guess what? You essentially brought plagues to this place. Okay, let me see. All right, and this is just off of whim, man. What diseases, did the Europeans bring? And they make it seem like they're making the world that much of a better place. You ain't made the world a better place. Look at the debt that America's accumulated. Look at poverty. It's at its highest. With being as technologically advanced as this society is, look at poverty, right? In which we know you're going to introduce the New World Order, and you're going to, champion yourselves on fixing the world's problems through the AI and all this other bullshit. Man, come on, man. It's a bunch of bullshit, man, and everybody knows it. All right. When the Europeans arrived, and this is grok.com, why not? Okay. When Europeans arrived in the Americas following Christopher Columbus's voyages in 1492, they brought with them a host of diseases that had profound effects on the indigenous populations, right? These diseases were largely responsible for the dramatic population declines among Native American communities. As they had no prior exposure or immunity to them, the main diseases included smallpox, all right, measles, influenza, okay, typhus, all right, diphtheria, if I'm saying that right, all right, plague, okay, and look what it says. It says these diseases collectively known as part of the Columbian exchange, right? And so when you came here, the natives, in actuality, the natives help you, all right. You use certain natives to divide and conquer. Okay. All right. Had a catastrophic impact due to the lack of immunological resistance among Native Americans. They didn't need to have strong immune systems if these diseases weren't prevalent in their society before these Edomites that came to the Americas. All right. It says estimates suggest that in some regions, up to 90% of the indigenous population perished within a century, within 100 years of contact, not just from disease, but also from the social disruption, right, and malnutrition that followed, right? So you brought all type of uh, uh, evil things, man. All right. So the championing yourselves in this heroism, all right. Uh, it's just it just speaks to uh, uh your strange psychopathic nature, man. These devils are really psychopathic, man. Okay, so I'll play a little bit more.
Proud of that? Yes, I am. Now, the natives lived in the Americas for 20,000 years.
Bullshit, you know. And I'm not even gonna play no more because that's bullshit. All right, you know. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, that's why I go on to say, man. Yeah, we're not gonna feel any type of way, okay? Because the Lord is going to destroy you because of your savage nature towards the world, and the world needs to be rid of you so-called Edomites. All right, so just like he's taking on the talking point of we had to come save the world from these savages and bring it out of the Stone Ages. Well, guess what? We got to save the world from you savages, you so-called white people, because all you bring to the world is war, diseases, man-made manufactured diseases, right? You can't. And I mean, this guy had a documentary where he was going around asking people, what does woman, what does woman mean, or just trying to get people's reaction, just to show you how far gone the society is. But guess what? The so-called white man did that. He brought the LGBTQA and all of those confusing things to the world. All right. So can't we say that you're savages and the world needs to be cleansed from you? Okay. So let's see here. All right. I want to go to, let me see here. Sirach 10. All right. Okay. When you think about this devil and the things that they're doing, all right, you got greed at an all-time high. All right. You got greed amongst these so-called white people. All right. To the likes of that which we have never seen in the world before. All right. And then you got a large portion of people in the world that are starving and suffering. The world is being depleted of its natural resources. The list goes on, man. So you're the savage now. All right. Sirach 10 and 8. Well, you know what? I'll start up with you. Okay. 10 and 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, right? Because they're not prudent. All right. They're not wise. They don't look out, or they don't look to the future for pretty much longevity. They'll do they'll deplete the world resources for profit, for gain, for material gain. All right. Okay. So it says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Right. So we need one that is profitable. And that's the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right. And the Israelites. Okay. The scripture said the law shall come forth from Zion. All right. And they're going to cleanse the earth and renew it, refresh it. Okay. And bring fairness. All right. To the planet. Because right now the planet is unfair and there's ongoing wars by you so-called white men. So, we pretty much just gonna flip what this dude is saying, and look, we're not gonna feel no type of way, all right, when this place is destroyed, because guess what? You're savages, all right? You're the savages now, okay? It says, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor, all right? Bear not hatred to thy nature for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before God and man, right? And this dude is these devils are hella pride, and he looks like a devil. He looks like a liar, and that's all really Esau has brought to the world is deception. Okay, that's all you can really brag about is deception and deceiving the masses to believe that you are some type of hero. All right, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, Right. Prideful is hateful before God and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Right. And you white people have committed iniquity. That's why you're going to be judged. You're going to be judged worse than anybody else in the history of this planet. Okay. And when your judgment comes, it's going to be so dreadful. All right. That the whole world, the world is going to shake. All right, because of your the judgment that's coming upon you, which is that thermonuclear destruction. Hell, you created nuclear missiles. You telling me that's not savage? All right, you have the power to destroy the whole world. All right, and you have only proven to be selfish, self-centered, proud. All right, and hateful towards everybody around you. All right, because nobody can really live autonomously rich. All right, or just a wealthy. All right, you can't even grow. These Edomites have a problem with you growing food in your own backyard. Okay, so you telling me that's not sinister and that's not savage? You the savages now. Okay, it says because of unrighteous dealings and riches. Oh, and because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Right, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. This is how you accumulated everything through deception. Okay, and you only bring in more deception. Okay, and now you're gonna package it up. All right, with this, with this idea of you saving the world from the shithole that you created, okay, through your mismanagement, all right, and you're gonna introduce this new world order, all right, and then have people even more fucked up, okay. You're the reason why cancer is a prevalent thing in society, all right. The list goes on, man. You know, it says, why is earth and ashes proud? So why the fuck are you proud? Why are you proud? You've done nothing, absolutely nothing to society. This is trolling at its best. This is just Esau's proud nature coming out, right? I'll play a little bit more. Fuck.
And this is something that the left and the people who hate this country like to bring up all the time. Well, they were here for so long. Yeah, they were here for a long time. What did they do in that time? During that time, they never figured out the wheel. They never figured out written language.
That's bugged out. And this is consistently what Esau has done, right? Look at him. You can tell he's a fucking devil, a straight fucking devil, a liar, right? Like the natives didn't help the settlers come, all right? If that's what you want to call them, all right? Lack of a better word, we'll call them settlers, whatever, all right? Like they didn't help them be able to sustain themselves during the winters, okay? Like like the and I'll just say Gadites, all right? Because you know what I'm talking about, all right? So-called North American Indians, all right? Like they didn't have a system set up and how they ran, their tribes, all right? Okay? Esau likes to paint like the paint a wide brush, or I forget how you say the term, but he likes to paint a wide brush of you know, of this quote unquote savagery, right? It's just a bunch of bullshit, man.
Most of them progressed hardly at all.
See, fucking bullshit. Surviving through winters, all right? Living off the land, okay? Completely healthy, all right? And then you brought diseases, okay? Then you brought deception, okay? Whatever, man. I'm kind of at a loss for words because I'm a little bit angry and boy, oh boy, they really have to be taken out of the earth, because if we don't, if the Lord, if not we, but if the Lord doesn't remove these devils, man, the world is going to be completely, utterly destroyed at the rate that they're moving. Okay, countless wars. All right, and you're talking about theater wars, made up wars, just so they can steal resources. All right, and they're the biggest thieves on the earth, on the planet Earth. Right? Whatever, man.
Over the course of 200 centuries.
200. It ain't been 200 centuries. That's bullshit. All right. And that's Esau again. That's more deception. All right, because they changed the times. Okay, they've been changing the times, and the scriptures tell you that. All right, it's been roughly 2,000 years. If it was 20,000 years, wouldn't you think they would have been far more advanced? Right? And it just plays to their you know their bullshit philosophy that that they are the pioneers and the most advanced and they're the most qualified to rule the world. You're not, all right? Because the Moors, who are so-called Negroes, had to help uh, uh, mold and give these so-called white people knowledge. All right, who do you think they went to? Okay, and Europe. All right, so whatever, man. It's lucky, man.
They were still eating each other and living in tents, many of them.
And this dude is trolling, man. It at first when I was watching this at first, this is hilarious. This is fucking hilarious.
The great tribes of Mesoamerica had advanced the most. And by that, I mean they had caught up to the ancient Egyptians by the time that the conquistadors showed up. They were building pyramids at a time when Europeans were using the printing press.
See? And again, just to say that they're far more wise. Now, to a degree, the Lord did give them, all right, that knowledge, okay? And it's essentially chose them, okay? The scriptures talk about him being the anointed cherub to some degree, but it was the Lord. It wasn't you, and you're gonna find that out the hard way. All right, okay. This is Isaiah 10, and let me see, is it 10 or 7? Yeah, Isaiah 10 and 13. It says, "For he saith, by the strength of my hand I have done it," right, and by my wisdom. Okay, here, I'm gonna get that, cue that up really quick. Right, so this is the mindset of these devils. All right, for he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent. You see, and that's what he's saying. That they're saying that they're the wise ones, right? And I have removed the bounds of the people, all right, and have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, I have gathered all the earth, and there was none that moved the wing or opened the mouth or peep. All right. And so this is what the Lord says. It says, "Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth with therewith?" All right. Here, let me get this, and I'll come back. This is Psalms, all right, 75 and 6. It says, "For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." Right? "For in the hand of the Lord there's a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture." All right. And so Esau was set up to come, all right, and put down these native tribes, all right, the Gadites, okay, all right, the Reubenites, all right, all the 10 tribes that were here, all right, the Zebulunites, all right, the Issacharites, okay. That was by way of prophecy, okay, and that's one big part of history, of course, that's you know they leave out. I mean, well, the big part of or a big aspect of history is the prophetic, all right, part of it, okay. All right. It says, "It is full of mixture, and he poureth out the same, out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them." All right. Okay. And so what? The Lord is essentially set up the so-called white man to come over here and to do what he's been doing. Okay. To conquer. All right. All right. To set up his society. Okay. And use slaves to build his society. Okay. All right. Daniel 4 and 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men." And that's what you are. You are the basis of men. Look how you rule in society today, which proves you're the base. You're a base man. Okay, and the Hebrew word here is shapal. All right. It says lowliest. All right. Here, let's go in the root word. Okay. Just to bring low. Let's see here. A base. Which basically is low degree. All right. Okay, meaning that here, let's do this. So I like using etymon. Oops. All right. So base, let's get straight to the point. Adjective, it says low of little height. It says low, lowly, mean. All right. From late, it says thick, stumpy, low. Low in stature or position. Okay. And that's what Esau was. Okay. Because coming out of Europe, all right, they were a very low degree. All right. They were very nasty people. Okay. And how do you think they got Australia? There was a bunch of criminals that they sent to Australia, okay, to pretty much colonize that place, okay, which is of a certain origin, possibly from Elskin or Celtic, right? So look at that, the meaning low on the social scale, and that's what Esau was, all right, low in the moral scale, perfect, all right, because Esau doesn't have any morals, okay. It says befitting an inferior person or thing unworthy, and that's what you are. All right. Esau is very inferior. Okay. Look at you now. Your numbers is dwindling when it comes to, giving birth. Okay. And they know that shit. Okay. So, I mean, the truth is the truth, man. And it's only so much you can do to hide it. All right. But it's evident. It's evident, man. You're nobody. Okay. So let me see. Let's move on. Okay. So the Lord gave it to the basis of men, which is Esau, the low man. All right. Okay. The inferior, because you truly are inferior. Okay. By the way you move in the earth, just proves it. Okay. You got to bomb everything to hell. You got to destroy everything. Okay. That just proves only a weak person does that. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So Isaiah 10 and 15, it says, shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? And so the Lord used you. All right. Or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it, as if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself, as if it were no wood. Therefore shall the Lord, all right, the Lord of hosts, send among his fat ones leanness, all right, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like the burning of a fire, all right, okay, and the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and the Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day. That's talking about that thermonuclear fire, man. All right. Okay. It's going to burn up everything that you've set up. All right. So, yeah, I mean, you can't be mad at Esau for being proud. I mean, you get kind of roused up, you know, it's not so much anger. I mean, you're angry, but you're angry at the wicked every day. Okay. But, we get roused up because, it's just bullshit. All right. So Habakkuk 2 and 4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And you can see that, right? They all lifted up with pride. Okay. But their soul, they're corrupt human beings. And they're not even human. Okay. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. And we have to live by faith. Okay. All right. Because um uh, you know, everybody else is living carnally. Everybody else is living uh and lifting themselves up because of the resources they have and things of that nature. Well, we got the Lord as a resource. All right. And that's really truly all we need. All right. So verse 5, yea, also but because he transgresseth by one, all right, he is a proud man. See? So he's transgressing, which we say philosophy, all right, and that's why he's proud. Okay, neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. So you're likened unto death, all right, which death you can't satisfy death because death is an ongoing thing. You can't stop death, and just like you can't stop this devil from wanting to take everything, all right, and have everything to himself. And now it's going to get to the point where he wants every living soul, every living creature, all right, to be tagged and to be monitored, all right, and to be controlled. Okay. And so, all right, we can say, you know, we can say that by that same logic that he's using, you know, which we know is bullshit, that the native tribes, which are the Israelites, were savages. We can say the same thing for you now. All right. And how much more? Being that you got the whole planet Earth in your under your authority, and guess what? It's going to shit, and all you're doing is deceiving, deceiving, and deceiving until you destroy every damn thing. All right. So yeah, man, your time is coming. Their time is coming because guess what? All right, Revelations 11 and 18, and the nations were angry. Why are they angry? Because of this devil and his mischievous his way of life being pushed and forced on everybody. All right. Everybody has to live according to their standard. All right. And the nations are angry. It says, in thy wrath has come. In the time of the dead, all right, that they should be judged. All right. And the dead represents the heathen. Okay. And guess what? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's at the very top of the list. Okay. It says, in that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. So a reward is coming, and also damnation is coming. Okay. And to the saints and them that fear thy name. All right. And big emphasis on those that fear the name. All right. Because not everybody fears the name of the Lord. This is small and great. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Right. So the Lord, okay, he's going to judge you by the same merit that you judge everybody else. Okay. So we can say the same thing for you. All right. And we ain't going to feel no type of way when the Lord take you out. All right. So just wanted to quickly do that through the spirit, but hey, Lord willing, it was edifying. Until next time, I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.